The one thing that all of us have in common this morning is this. We have one thing in common. You want to be happy and I want to be happy. Right? We all want to be happy.
Yeah.
The second thing that we all have in common is this, is that we want to live a life full of meaning and purpose. How many of you want to live a life full of meaning and purpose? You want to accomplish something with your life. Okay? So here we are. We all want to be happy. Okay? I don't know anyone that doesn't want to be happy. And then this is our outer world. So we are always telling ourselves a story. And the story that we can be telling ourselves, and most of us tell ourselves, is this. Is I want to be happy, but to be happy, I need more money. Okay? I need more money. Or to be happy, I need a wife. Okay? Or if I get a raise, or if I can live in a big house and drive a nice car. So what we're doing the whole time is we are projecting how we're going to be happy and how we're going to live life of meaning and significance if we have all these external things. If we can just have all of these things in place, then I'm going to be happy. This here, firstly, this place here is called reality. Okay? This is the real world that you're living in. Okay? This world out here is your daydream world. How many of you love dreaming? Okay? So we dream about where we want to be and what is going to make us happy. So we live actually in this reality, but we are dreaming about this. Anyone got dreams and hopes and aspirations? Okay? All of us, if we are human beings, we're dreaming about what life could be. And if I had this, and if I could go here, and if I could do that. And it's all fantastic because we really, really have got dreams and aspirations. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, today I really hope that I have a terrible day. No, I've made no money, that my life is sucks and everything just doesn't work out. And that no one does that. We live here, dreaming here, but the reality hits us here. Now we've got this big gap between the reality of where we're living and the dreams that are in our heart. How do we get there? Because how many of you realize you get stuck? Okay? And you don't know how to bridge the gap between where I am. This is where I am, my reality. This is where I want to go. How do I bridge the gap between where I am, where do I want to go? This journey is crucial because if we don't understand how to navigate that journey, then what ends up happening is there's two things that we can do. Number one, we can front. Do you know what front is? Front is we can pretend. We can make out as if we live in here. That's when we go to the bank and we get a nice loan, buy like a car, we do our thing, we've got the vibes going, everything's nice on the outside. Or we buy some new clothes on hire purchase, or we go and borrow money from the bank, basically, to keep up with what the images that we're trying to project to the world out there on the outside. Of, look at me, I'm doing fine, I'm doing great, right? So what we end up doing is we borrow money to try and project and try and front an image on the outside. That's the first thing that we can do. The second thing that we do is this, is we blame shift. We say this, if it wasn't for that person, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for the economy, if it wasn't for the government, if it wasn't for my boss, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for my children, and we blame shift. Because at least if we blame shifting, then we don't feel so bad about living right here. Because it's somebody else's problem. Somebody else's fault that I am stuck here. I was born into this family that has no money, that is in this situation, therefore it's not my fault that I'm stuck here. Right? So the first thing that we can do is we can blame shift. The first thing that we can do then is to front, pretend, borrow some money to get this image going. Or the second thing we do is we like to blame somebody else and say it's somebody else's fault. Instead, what do we need to do to move from where we are to where we want to go? Is we need to take responsibility for our lives. You see, how many of you know that everything can change around you? Things change around you, right? The world is changing, the economy is changing, the weather's changing. Everything changes around you. There's only a few things that you can take responsibility for. And the first and the most important thing that you can take responsibility for is yourself. And when you begin to go, you know what, this is my life, and I'm not going to blame somebody else, and I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to front that I'm great, that everything is awesome and I'm cooking and it's just taking me to the bank. So I'm not going to blame and I'm not going to front. I'm going to take responsibility for my life. And then when you get to that place that you go, there's no one here. I can't blame my dad. I can't blame my mom. I can't blame my neighborhood. I can't blame where I was born. I can't blame any of that stuff. I stop today and I decide I'm going to take responsibility for me. That's when things begin to shift, and that's when things begin to change. Because then I realize there is something that I can do, and I'm going to show you what you can do. The first thing that you can do to get out of, to move from where you are to your new reality, okay, is, there's 2 A's. The first A is affirmation. Affirmation. What is affirmation? Affirmation is basically believing the best in yourself and speaking life over yourself. How do you start your day? How do you start your thinking process? Because if you do not start on a positive foot of affirmation towards yourself, you will be stuck. So you have to wake up every single morning and you have to say, this is an awesome day. I was designed and created for this day. God actually wrote in his book this day. And I know that when he was writing in the book, he didn't go, yeah, I'm going to make this day terrible. This is going to suck. This is going to be terrible. And I'm going to have all of these terrible things. No, he said that he's got a good plan for you. Plans to bless you, to give you a hope and a future. So you have to start with a positive mindset. How do you start with a positive mindset? How do you begin with affirming yourself and affirming where you're going? Exactly what we're doing this morning. By the time you guys leave here, my aim would be that you would leave here and say, yeah man, I'm going to do this thing. Yes, let's go and do this day. Why? Because you have spoken life. Because when you speak life over yourself, you get what you speak and you get what you think. You get what you speak and you get what you think. And that's where it starts. So it starts with how do you think and how do you speak. Because how you think and how you speak is what you're going to get. So you have to start with a positive mindset, and you have to start with affirmation, and you have to start with the right thinking, saying, you know what, this day is going to be awesome. I'm going to make the most out of this day. And you begin to speak that and you begin to declare that. Even if on the outside everything tells you it's going wrong, because guess what? Life happens to all of us. You're going to get a flat wheel. You're going to you didn't sleep last night. Things happen. But thinking negative and speaking negative about that will not change anything. So the first thing you need to do is you need to begin with affirmation. The second thing that you need to do is you need to take action. You need to take action. Now this is where a lot of people get stuck, because what they do is they say this, okay, I'm just going to speak positive, and I'm just going to speak positive. I'm just going to speak positive. I'm going to listen to positive stuff. I'm going to watch positive clips, and I'm going to have all this positive affirmation. And then you have these people talk about, and then you'll grow rich. You'll think and grow rich. Yes, you need to start with changing your mind, because it starts with your mind and it starts with your words. But unless you take action, guess what? You live in daydream land. You live in a world where one day it's going to be like this. One day it's going to be better. One day it's going to be. So how do you do it? You have to take it. You have to start by taking. Let's draw it like this. This is where you are. Okay. This is where you want to go. You have to start with taking small action steps. Small action steps. And you say, the first step that I'm going to take is I'm going to be positive today. The second step that I'm going to take is I am going to choose today to save some money. And all of a sudden, that small step towards where you're heading gives you confidence for the next step. You have got not only affirmation, you've got action steps. And that builds in you what is called a self-competence. And self-competence means this. You end up with a mindset believing that you can do it. I believe I can do this. You have to set small goals to reach your big goals. Because unless you actually take action steps, you don't take yourself serious. Because you just live in daydream world. You live in this world where you watch the guys on social media and the guy sitting there with his chicks and his yacht and his Lamborghini, and you go, yo, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to be like that dude on the island with the yacht and the Lamborghini. I'm going to be so cool. That's why people dream. They dream about everyone else's life except for taking responsibility for their life. Because your mind then thinks that's you. It's not you. Jy sit hier so nou in 'n overall, hy sit daar op die strand. We're either living in daydream world, we either daydream because your daydreams, your imagination can rob you if you're not careful. If you do not combine your imagination with small action steps towards your goal, it will stay and remain a dream. And your dreams will never become reality. So I'm not talking about massive action steps. I'm not talking about now, you're going to become a professor one day. I'm talking about what are the small action steps that you take today. Because if you take one small action step every single day, that means in 7 days you've taken 7 action steps. And the next week, another 7. That means you've taken 14 small action steps. And every night when you get into bed and you say, well done. And you affirm yourself because of the small action step that you take. It gives you confidence for the next step, for the next step, for the next step. And that's how you walk out of where you are to where you want to go. And it doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't happen overnight because that, you have 2 types of mentality. You have a person that has a growth mindset. A growth mindset says this: I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow and I'm going to develop myself as much as I can because I'm here and I want to end up here. So I've got to get there. I'm going to have a growth mindset. That means I'm going to have to learn new things. I'm going to have to meet new people. I'm going to have to change my attitude. I'm going to have to do some things that I haven't done before. So growth mindset that takes you from here to here. A lottery mindset says this: I'm going to wait here and I hope that I win the lottery. I'm just going to sit here and I hope that something nice happens to me. You know what? You're going to be sitting waiting. I'll come back next year and you'll still be sitting there. I hope something nice happens to me and I hope I win the lottery. Yeah, hope is fantastic, but hope without an action step means nothing. Faith without works is dead. It's got nothing with it. So we can hope for our goals, but if we don't take the small action steps, and then we combine it with positive affirmation. If you're around people that are negative, get away from them. Because if they cannot see the best in you and call the best out of you, then you don't want them speaking into your life because you've got to protect your life. You're protecting everything in you put it this way, this world is so negative, right? And life happens. So between the world being negative and life happening and the devil against you, you've got one massive fight on your hand as well. You don't need somebody else to make trouble for you. So you can't surround yourself with negative people. But when you begin to understand who you are and you stand up in your own identity and you stand up with speaking affirmation over yourself and you then begin to take those small action steps and you stay away from negative people, you begin to see how you journey out of where you are to where you want to be. This is where you are, this is where you want to be. The gap here between where you are and where you want to be is what causes stress. That causes stress in your life because you know there's more to you and you know you shouldn't be living like this and you know that you haven't reached your full potential and you know that you haven't discovered yourself, and that where you are and where you want to be can cause stress for yourself. And then you can cause more stress if you go and front and pretend you are here. If you go and front by making a whole bunch of debt, right? to try and quickly get here because tomorrow you want to get here. Quick, 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 I want to get here. That causes more stress because you know it's not true. This is really where you are. But now you're pretending to be here. But this is the secret. When you begin to take action steps. Step 1, I need to get my license. Step 2, I need to save some money for the deposit. Step 3, I need to get a better education. Step 4, I need to save some more money. And all of a sudden you find yourself and you say, I think I'm ready to buy a car. And you buy the car here. Look here. Look how small the stress is. Why? Because you've grown your internal capacity to handle your external reality. And if you have not taken the time to grow your internal life capacity to handle your external reality, it will create stress on you. So your aim is this, is I have to grow myself from the inside out. I need to live from the inside out so that what is going on the inside is real to what's going on the outside. And when what is going on the inside and what is going on the outside of your life is in agreement, there's peace and there's joy. Because then you're not living a fake life. Then you are real with yourself and you are real with the world around you, because that is who you are. You can drive that car and you can do that and you can do that. Why? Because there's an agreement with this is who I am. This is my reality, which is reality. I've grown myself. I've taken responsibility to grow my internal world so that it can handle the external world that I'm moving into and want to live in.